Hi, it's Matthew McAllister here, and I'm at Seekers Guitars in Karlsruhe in Germany, and today I'm going to talk to you about vibrato. Now, what is vibrato? Vibrato is a movement of the pitch where you give the sound a lot more colour and a lot more character by actually changing the note's pitch. You sort of increase it by moving your hand while playing the note, and you're moving it left and right, rocking the finger on the string, and getting more than just the dry single pitch. You're actually increasing the intensity and varying that pitch, moving it back and forth. And it gives the sound much more colour. It's much more interesting to listen to. It sounds very similar to our human voice. Our human voice is not just completely monotone. Imagine if I spoke to you like, hello, welcome to the tutorial video with just the one sound. It would be very boring and you wouldn't like it. So that inflection, that movement in the pitch, that variation in the pitch gives us life, gives a lot of sound to the note. Now, vibrato isn't something that comes naturally to a lot of guitarists, and I don't think it's something that comes naturally to playing the guitar, because we're just really putting our fingers between two metal bars on the fingerboard and we achieve the note. We're not, for example, like a clarinetist or an oboist or a flautist. We're not breathing through our instrument and using our breath control. If we were using our breath, immediately we would be thinking about vibrato, because we'd be controlling the airspeed, and if we varied that speed, so would the pitch. The pitch would also vary. Same with a singer. A singer's always using vibrato to get the sound exactly how they want it. So with guitar, sometimes vibrato comes much later. You know, you've learnt to play the guitar really well, and then someone says, okay, let's have a little different character, a little more personality in the music, and you try and add vibrato, and then that's where vibrato can become like an on and off switch in the guitar. And it can become something, if it's not thought about, I think from very early on, it can be a little bit like a gimmick or something that's not very much in keeping with the music you're playing. So it's something, if you're young and you're starting to play the instrument, it's a very human thing, and it's something that gives a lot of life to your music and a lot of interest. So start to consider vibrato very early on in your playing. Other things to think about vibrato is a little bit like the quality of sound you make. It's something that we hear very quickly, and if it doesn't have any variation to it of itself, so I'm saying that, you know, vibrato of course is a variation of pitch. If you don't vary that, then it can become quite boring to listen to. So you've got to have a flexible vibrato that can change depending on the pieces you're playing, and you've got to have a vibrato that's really pleasant and attractive to listen to. So today I'm going to give you a few examples, just using some very simple melodies, simple pieces, and show you how good things that I use myself to start to get really vibrato going in a piece, and how it helps shape a melody and helps communicate a melody better. So I have a really beautiful guitar today, and it's a perfect instrument for demonstrating vibrato on. It's a Hermann Hauser guitar, a fantastic old German guitar, and it has a very brilliant treble, so it's really good for showing the area of the instrument in which I want to demonstrate good vibrato. We normally put vibrato on the melody line. The melody is obviously that most emotionally interesting part of the music, and it's the part that if we want to use vibrato, it's going to accept it the most easily to our ear. And also the top E string and B string are really excellent for accepting vibrato. So I'm going to use as an example the romanza piece, the anonymous romanza that's so popular in classical guitar music. It's played by so many students, performers, and so many times it's been recorded. So it's a piece you'll probably know. You'll likely recognise the melody. So it's a really good one for just starting to get this idea of vibrato happening. So if you know the melody, I'm not going to go any further than that, but a very beautiful melody. Now, I didn't use any vibrato there at all, none. So literally just playing the notes. Sounds okay, sounds fine. There's none of the accompaniment there are just the notes. If I start, and play a bit slower now, to try and move my finger from side to side, to vary the pitch a little bit, let's see what happens. Definitely much more interesting sound. Now, if I was to start to increase the intensity of that vibrato quite a bit, we would get maybe a sound like this. Now that's really, really quite intense, okay? And it's almost moving at a speed that really isn't represented anywhere else in the music. If I add, for example, the accompaniment parts, no vibrato here, and if I keep that rolling but use that intense vibrato where I'm really moving from side to side with a lot of energy, now, the vibrato is now moving faster than the speed of the piece that I'm actually playing. So I'm trying to get some sound going, but I'm using so much energy that the actual tempo of the piece is kind of being obliterated by the speed of this vibrato. So it makes the vibrato sound very shrill and quite annoying, actually, to listen to that the whole way through the piece, really producing a lot of intensity, which is maybe not so intuitive. It doesn't really suit the music. It doesn't suit the speed of the music, the momentum of the music, and it's so intense that actually after a while it would grate on the ear. It would really annoy the ear. So maybe what I have to do is, okay, I've got this movement from side to side. I've got this rocking, I call it, of the finger, and it's a lovely movement. It's not this, which, okay, yes, is varying the pitch. It's taking it sharp, then bringing it back to normal. But that's actually bending the string out of tune, you know. What I'm doing here is a simple rocking from side to side of the fingertip. So instead of just a note, I'm getting this slight bending of the pitch, slight sharpening and then relaxing back to the normal tone. Okay, and if I think about the tempo of the piece, in 3, but in triplets, in 8th note triplets. So I have this 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. I have a nice rhythm in there. Now if I'm intuitive with my vibrato, I can actually keep it very smooth and in keeping with the overall momentum of the piece. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm actually now letting my finger rock in time with the pulse that I'm playing. Now that's much more akin to what a singer would do. A singer would understand the rhythm of the piece and this pulse that's going on all the time in the music. And naturally and intuitively, their voice would hopefully actually sing with that vibrato and that intensity matched, married up, so that they're really in congress with each other. You don't want one aspect of your melody being at odds with the rest of the harmony and the accompaniment. They want the two to be together, okay, to be connected. So if I just play that again, keeping the pulse nice and steady and trying to keep the vibrato being sort of accepted to the nice flow underneath, I think you'll hear that it's much more smooth. So with that gentle oscillation of the tempo, with that gentle movement back and forward, that really helps make it much more intuitive and marry it up with the piece. Now, vibrato, you can do it in many ways, and you can do it for many different effects. Sometimes it's interesting what vibrato does to a single note. It actually encourages the note to sustain for longer. So if I just play and let that note die away, and if I start the note without any vibrato, but start to add vibrato at the end of the note, just before it would die away, I can actually breathe a little bit more life into the note and keep the note ringing on for longer. So, rather than letting the note just die away to nothing, okay? So vibrato can also be used to extend the life of a note, and it doesn't always have to be used from the very beginning. Sometimes when we practice on guitar, because of the mechanical nature of vibrato, we think we have to start it right away. And that's where often that very quick vibrato can start to form when we're practicing vibrato, when we're starting out with it. We can think about quick vibrato because we need it immediately to happen. Well, actually, try and start your vibrato a little bit later. Make sure the note is formed first, just on its own, and then add vibrato as you go on. So you could... And you're learning to grow into the vibrato. If you have a lot of repeated notes, you don't necessarily have to start vibrato on the first of those. You could start it as the notes go further along their sequence. So, I'm increasing it as the notes repeat. I'm starting it very, very gently and then bringing it up as we go further. So vibrato is a hugely interesting area to explore in the guitar, and this tutorial was just really to start to open up your ears to the use of vibrato and really the appropriate use of vibrato, not to overuse it, not to make it too intense, really to make sure it's not against the gentle flow of the piece that you normally have. And to try and use it to offer a different character and a different sound to the music you're playing. We want to vary the sound of a melody, especially if there are repeats in the music. So you could have, for example, one performance where you don't use any or very sparingly, and another repetition of the same notes where you actually increase the intensity through using a little bit more vibrato. Often singers, as they're singing verses of a song or choruses of a song, will increase the intensity when they're getting to the most important part of the narrative of the music, and that's when they might use the most vibrato, they might use the most colour in their voice. So guitarists, let's think a little bit more like singers, let's think a little bit more like wind players and start to use vibrato right from the very beginning of our study with the guitar. Not something that we have the on-off switch for, and not something that we add much later on. Try and start to think about the very natural, intuitive movement of the hand and that variation of the pitch, which helps add so much life to the music. So with such a simple piece like Romanza, you could just begin to explore, just maybe on the single line melody, then add in the pulse and the flow and the other notes, and try and make a really beautiful vibrato that helps let that melody really sing. So good luck with the vibrato. Bye for now.